Bolo Shri Haryakandi Bhagwan Ki Jai, Jagdambe Mata Ki Jai, Haryakandashvari Mata Ki Jai, Vishveshvari Mata Ki Jai, Bule Baba Ki Jai, Jagdambe Mata Ki Jai, Haryakandashvari Mata Ki Jai. Welcome to today's 5th day of Spring Navratri. And today we're honoring the aspect of Durga, Skanda Mata, the mother of Skanda, who's the son of Shiva and Parvati, and is the
leader of armies.
The leader of all the armies, protecting us and taking care of us. Bole Baba Ki Jai. Can you just move down a little bit? I need to stand here. Bolo Shri Haryakandi Bhagwan Ki Jai. Do you have the water to sprinkle 3 times? Om Apavitra Pavitra Va Savavastam Gatopi Va Yasmana Purari Kaksham Sa Vibhyantara Suchi. Om Purari Kaksha Punatum Ganganapati Nama. Om Ganganapati Nama. Om Ganganapati Nama. Om Shri Sambasadashivaya Satgurave Nama. Abhanam Samarpyami. Om Shri Babaji, Divine Mother, please be with Premanand and Jonathan and Bill and Ramloti as they offer this fire ceremony today to say thank you to you for everything, for the beautiful snow we had last night and the more snow we're going to get tonight. So we're very grateful. Thank you. And for everything you give to us. We also want to remember the people who have sponsored today's fire ceremony, and all the people who have asked for prayers, who have sent their intentions, and all the people in need of prayers, and for our whole Mother Earth. Seems to be in great need of prayers. Today we're together on this Friday, the 16th, I believe, of April 2021 at the Haryakandi Universal Ashram, offering this fire. Om Shri Samba Sadashivaya Satgurave Nama Asanam Samarpyami. Om Shri Samba Sadashivaya Satgurave Nama Snanam Samarpyami. Om Namah Shambhavaya Cha Mayobhavaya Cha Namah Shankaraya Cha Mayasakaraya Cha Namah Shivaya Cha Shivatadaya Cha. Shri Samba Sadashivaya Satgurave Nama Panchamrit Snanam Samarpyami. Shri Samba Sadashivaya Satgurave Namah Shudajal Snanam Samarpyami. Om Namah Shambhavaya Cha Mayobhavaya Cha Namah Shankaraya Cha Mayaskaraya Cha Namah Shivaya Cha Shivatadaya Cha. Om Shri Samba Sadashivaya Satgurave Namah Sugandim Samarpyami. Coconut and spoon? And trident? Great. Om Shri Samba Sadashivaya Satgurave Namah Yagyo Pavitam Samarpyami. Om Agnaya Shiste Krite Namah Swaha Om Vardinim Agnim Abhayami Pujyami. Shri Samba Sadashivaya Satgurave Namah Chandanam Samarpyami. Om Shri Samba Sadashivaya Satgurave Namah Kumkumam Samarpyami. Well, could you go get my mantra book? It's wrapped in the green cloth above the fire, above the stove.
Oh.
Thank you.
You might want to also get a flower for the coconut.
Okay, a big flower for the coconut. Shri Samba Sadashivaya Satgurave Namah Aksatan Samarpyami. Om Shri Samba Sadashivaya Satgurave Namah Pushpa Malam Samarpyami. It's right behind you on the other side. Shri Samba Sadashivaya Satgurave Namah Pushpam Samarpyami. Can you put some more wood in, Prem? He's going to get a big flower.
Oh, okay.
Did you put one in the fire?
Yeah.
Okay. Om Shri Samba Sadashivaya Satgurave Namah Dupam Samarpyami. Om Shri Samba Sadashivaya Satgurave Namah Naividyam Samarpyami. Om Pranaya Swaha, Udanaya Swaha, Apanaya Swaha, Samanaya Swaha, Dhyana Swaha. You can put it all in. Om Shri Samba Sadashivaya Satgurave Namah. Bole Baba Ki Jai. Om Gananatva Ganapati Gunghava Mehe Priyanatva Priyapati Gunghava Mehe Nirinatva Niripati Gunghava Mehe Vasamam Ahamajani Garbadam Atmajasti Garbadam Swaha. You can put as much as you wanted. Om Ganganapati Namah Swaha. Om Ganganapati Namah Swaha. Om Ganganapati Namah Swaha. Om Vakratundaya Hung Fat Swaha. Om Ganganapati Namah Swaha. Om Ganganapate Namah Swaha. Om Ganganapate Namah Swaha. Om Gananapa Ganapati Gunghavamahe. Nidinatva Nidipati Gunghavamahe. Priyanatva Priyapati Gunghavamahe. Vasamam Hamajani Garbadam Atmajasi Garbadam Swaha. Ganganapate Namah Swaha. Om Pats Namah. Om Gungurubhyo Namah Swaha. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandim Pushtivadanam Udvarukamiva Bandhanat Mritur Makshiyam Amritat Swaha. Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Mahadevyaya Dhimahi Tanarudra Prachodat Swaha. Om Hring Shring Hare Kandashvarya Namah Swaha. Om Ring Namo Bhagavate Mahamanindra Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahamanindra Hring Hare Kandi Namah Shivaya Swaha. Om Shri Satgurave Namah Swaha. Om Kailash Giri Vare Rame Nivasantam Shushantibi Tatmunim Satatam Bande Satya Karunya Rupinam Swaha. Om Yasa Smurna Matrena Sitho Bhavati Sadhaka Satgunam Taman Vande Hadakanda Vasinim Swaha. Om Yasa Kripa Katenshana Dainyo Bhavati Manava Tasya Parikam Pranamani Nirantadam Swaha. Om Kamalam Hridayam Yasa Kamalam Yasa Bhashanam Danda Pikamalo Yasa Kamalam Gam Namam Yaham Swaha. Om Drishtim Daya Mayam Kritva Yapashati Charachadam Lokapaka Nirato Ragaveshari Varchita Swaha. Om Satguru Sakanandardo Dhyanyam Sadashadam Satyam Param Chinanadam Samsmarmi Hisabada Swaha. Om Hadireva Hadir Bhakto Hadir Dhyan Parayanam Hadir Namamritam Pitva Haryadam Param Brachat Swaha. Om Yo Dadati Chabalanam Satyanam Trasudalabam Sarva Sadani Noapi Twame Kamavalam Banam Swaha. Om Mahamartanda Rupena Moadvanta Vinashaka Sava Bhutat Raposi Mahendrasa Chajivanam Swaha. Om Ananda Rupam Shri Shakti Diptam Vidyam Param Brahmarasa Nubhutyam Karunya Purnam Gurumurti Rupam Devim Namaha Jagadishwaring Tvam Swaha. Om Mam Raksha Nityam Jagadabalambe Tvameva Satyam Jagajivanimata Sansara Jamwa Jaroga Vidyam Madhyam Bache Harekandavasinim Swaha. Om Shrim 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 Swaha. Om Shrim 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 Swaha. Om Shrim 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 Swaha. Om Hrim 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 Swaha. Om Hrim 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 Swaha. Om Hrim 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 Swaha. Om Klim 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 Swaha. Om Klim 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 Swaha. Om Klim 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 Swaha. Om Shri Mahadev Parvati Sharanam Swaha. Om Shri Mahadev Parvati Sharanam Swaha. Om Shri Mahadev Parvati Sharanam Swaha. Om Shrim Hrim Klim I'm Kamalavasane 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 Swaha. Om Bam Batkaya Apadudanai Kudakura Batkaya Bam Namah Shivaya Swaha. Om Bam Batkaya Apadudanai Kudakura Batkaya Bam Namah Shivaya Swaha. Om Bam Batkaya Apadudanai Kudakura Batkaya Bam Namah Shivaya Swaha. Indra Vacha. Om Namaste Stu Mahamaye Shri Pate Shruta Puchate Shanka Chakra Gadahaste Ma Lakshmi Namostute Swaha. Om Namaste Gurura Arude Kola Asura Bayamkare Sarva Papa Hare Devi Ma Lakshmi Namostute Swaha. Om Sarvakan Sarva Badade Sarva Dusta Bayamkare Sarva Dukkha Hare Devi Ma Lakshmi Namostute Swaha. Om Siddhi Bhuti Pradaya Devi Bhukti Mukti Pradayani Mantra Putra Sada Devi Ma Lakshmi Namostute Swaha. Om Ad Anta Rihita Devi Ajya Shakti Maheshwari Yoga Jay Yoga Sambhute Ma Lakshmi Namostute Swaha. Stula Shukshma Maharodre Ma Shakti Mahodare Mahapapa Hare Devi Ma Lakshmi Namostute Swaha. Om Padma Asana Shvite Devi Para Brahma Svarupani Parameshi Jagan Matar Ma Lakshmi Namostute Swaha. Om Sveta Ambara Dare Devi Nana Lankara Bhushate Jagat Stiti Jagan Matar Ma Lakshmi Namostute Swaha. Om Hring Shring Hare Kandashvarye Namah Swaha. Om Hring Shring Hare Kandashvarye Namah Swaha. Om Hring Shring Hare Kandashvarye Namah Swaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namah Swaha. Om Ambaye Namah Swaha. Om Anandrupaye Namah Swaha. Om Parambaye Namah Swaha. Om Abhishsiddhidaye Namah Swaha. Om Durgaye Namah Swaha. Om Ambikaye Namah Swaha. O Jagadambikaye Namah Swaha. Om Parmeshwaniye Namah Swaha. Om Karlaye Namah Swaha. Om Shivdaye Namah Swaha. Om Gyanmurtiye Namah Swaha. Om Ishwaryaye Namah Swaha. Om Yogmayaye Namah Swaha. Om Shriyaye Namah Swaha. Om Sardaye Namah Swaha. Om Mahendraye Namah Swaha. Om Shaktiyaye Namah Swaha. Om Rodraye Namah Swaha. Om Matraye Namah Swaha. Om Savitriyaye Namah Swaha. Om Vedmatraye Namah Swaha. Om Kalyaye Namah Swaha. Om Siddhidatraye Namah Swaha. Om Varunaye Namah Swaha. Om Sarvamangalatraye Namah Swaha. Om Ishtatraye Namah Swaha. Om Nityaye Namah Swaha. Om Taraye Namah Swaha. Om Chandikaye Namah Swaha. O Jagadapalambaye Namah Swaha. Om Vishveshwaryaye Namah Swaha. Om Jananaye Namah Swaha. Om Vardaye Namah Swaha. Om Rajeshwaryaye Namah Swaha. Om Shankaryaye Namah Swaha. Om Shivaye Namah Swaha. Om Jayankaryaye Namah Swaha. Om Anandrupaye Namah Swaha. Om Shri Shakti Deeptaye Namah Swaha. Om Vedyaye Namah Swaha. Om Paraye Namah Swaha. Om Karuna Purnaye Namah Swaha. Om Guru Murti Rupaye Namah Swaha. Om Divyaye Namah Swaha. Om Siddheshwaryaye Namah Swaha. Om Parvatyaye Namah Swaha. Om Divyaye Namah Swaha. Om Ankaraye Namah Swaha. Om Parmeshwaryaye Namah Swaha. Om Purnaye Namah Swaha. Om Vidyaye Namah Swaha. Om Paramaye Namah Swaha. Om Mahamayaye Namah Swaha. Om Shivdaye Namah Swaha. Om Sarvagatiyaye Namah Swaha. Om Katyaniyaye Namah Swaha. Om Bhavtariniyaye Namah Swaha. Om Haryakandi Vihariniyaye Namah Swaha. Om Tariniyaye Namah Swaha. Om Mahavidyaye Namah Swaha. Om Padmaye Namah Swaha. Om Maheshwaryaye Namah Swaha. Om Sharanaye Namah Swaha. Om Shivdutyaye Namah Swaha. Om Shiv Priyankaraye Namah Swaha. Om Mahavidyaye Namah Swaha. Om Parameshwaryaye Namah Swaha. Om Mohinyaye Namah Swaha. Om Annapurnaye Namah Swaha. Om Sarvagatyaye Namah Swaha. Om Tripusandariyaye Namah Swaha. Om Chandikaye Namah Swaha. Om Taraswiniyaye Namah Swaha. Om Ranjandikaye Namah Swaha. Om Ramaye Namah Swaha. Om Vedmurti Mayaye Namah Swaha. Om Saraswatiyaye Namah Swaha. Om Yugdadiniyaye Namah Swaha. Om Bhadrakalyaye Namah Swaha. Om Mahadev Priyankaryaye Namah Swaha. Om Kalyaniyaye Namah Swaha. Om Mangaladayiniyaye Namah Swaha. Om Shristimayaye Namah Swaha. Om Anantyaye Namah Swaha. Om Dhyanaye Namah Swaha. Om Jagadatriyaye Namah Swaha. Om Nandyaye Namah Swaha. Om Mukti Pradaye Namah Swaha. Om Hring Shring Mahamayaye Namah Swaha. Om Param Divyaye Namah Swaha. Om Bhuvaneshwaryaye Namah Swaha. Om Siddhi Devyaye Namah Swaha. Om Bhavaniyaye Namah Swaha. Om Radhaye Namah Swaha. Om Janantyaye Namah Swaha. Om Amritaye Namah Swaha. Om Krishnaye Namah Swaha. Om Chandarupiniyaye Namah Swaha. Om Vishvamayaye Namah Swaha. Om Yoginiyaye Namah Swaha. Om Indraniyaye Namah Swaha. Om Kapaliniyaye Namah Swaha. Om Bhairaviyaye Namah Swaha. Om Kundaliniyaye Namah Swaha. Om Kankaliyaye Namah Swaha. Om Narsinghiyaye Namah Swaha. Om Hring Shring Haryakandeshwaryaye Namah Swaha. Om Hring Shring Haryakandeshwaryaye Namah Swaha. Om Hring Shring Haryakandeshwaryaye Namah Swaha. Om Shri Ram Ramaya Namah Swaha. Om Shri Ram Ramaya Namah Swaha. Om Shri Ram Ramaya Namah Swaha. Om Kling Krishnaye Govindaye Gopichana Balabaya Namah Swaha. Om Kling Krishnaye Govindaye Gopijana Balabaya Namah Swaha. Om Kling Krishnaye Govindaye Gopijana Balabaya Namah Swaha. Om Hang Hanamante 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 Namah Swaha. Om Shri Ram Ramaya Om Dam Dattatrayaye Namah Swaha. Om Shri Dam Dattatrayaye Namah Swaha. Shri Dam Dattatrayaye Namah Swaha. Om Gongorkshnataya Namah Swaha. Om Gongorkshnataya Namah Swaha. Om Gongorkshnataya Namah Swaha. Om Bam Brahmane Namah Swaha. Om Bam Brahmane Namah Swaha. Om Bam Brahmane Namah Swaha. Om Vim Vishnave Namah Swaha. Om Vim Vishnave Namah Swaha. Om Vim Vishnave Namah Swaha. Om Sang Sadanaya Namah Swaha. Om Sang Sadanaya Namah Swaha. Om Sang Sadanaya Namah Swaha. Om Sung Surdhyaya Namah Swaha. Om Sung Surdhyaya Namah Swaha. Om Sung Surdhyaya Namah Swaha. Om Gotami Gangaye Namah Swaha. Om Gotami Gangaye Namah Swaha. Om Gotami Gangaye Namah Swaha. Om Vayuye Namah Swaha. Om Vayuye Namah Swaha. Om Vayuye Namah Swaha. Om Varunaye Namah Swaha. Om Varunaye Namah Swaha. Om Varunaye Namah Swaha. Om Navgrahada Vibhyo 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 Namah Swaha. Om Aing Hring Kling Chamundaya Vichaya 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 Swaha. Om Masidavaya Namah Swaha. Om Masidavaya Namah Swaha. Om Masidavaya Namah Swaha. Om Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Vargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Vargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Vargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Vargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Vargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Vargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Vargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Vargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya 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 Swaha. Om Shri Astadavatabhyo Namah Swaha. Om Shri Kuldavatabhyo Namah Swaha. Om Shri Gramdavatabhyo Namah Swaha. Om Shri Standavatabhyo Namah Swaha. Be careful. Can you move a little? You're stuck. Thank you. You're going to have to move because it's stuck under your pillow. Thank you. No, you can pour it if you want. You do it okay?
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
Om Hring Sange Saparivare Savahaniye Sarayudaye Nanabichacha Stratye Shima Kalye Shima Lakshmi Shima Saraswatiye Das Mahavidya Swarupaniye Shriharakandashvaryaye Shriharakandashvaryaye Cha Mahahutim Samar Pyami Namas Swaha. Bolo Shri Hariakandi Bhagwan Ki Jai Jagdambe Mata Ki Jai Hariakandashvari Mata Ki Jai Vishveshvari Mata Ki Jai Bole Baba Ki Jai. Just to be starting to snow a little. Get the Artian verse. Jai. Akila Vishvatamaharin Yana Prasanini Maya Kyana Prasanini Chohatihima Chakadihishi Chohatihima Chakadihishi Jaya Jagadahama Shive Om Jaya Jagadahamba Shive Baba Vitri Branti Bayahari Kantakaharini Kantakaharini Dahaya Dravita Sabehishi Dahaya Dravita Sabehishi Jaya Jagadahamba Shive Om Jaya Jagadahamba Shive Tarini Maya Bhavanini Tarini Tahare Ki Jai Jai Gautam Om Haryakandi 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 Kahandi Om Haryakandi 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 Om Hariya Kandi, 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 Hariya Kandi, Om 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 Hariya Kandi. Shar Sabdan Shri Shri Mahaprabhuji. Shar Sabdan Shri Shri Mahaprabhuji Parad Rehe He. Shar Sabdan Shri Shri Maha Parad Rehe He. Shar Sabdan Shri Shri Mahaprabhuji Parad Rehe He. Shar Sabdan Shri Shri Mahaprabhu. Shar Ji Parad Rehe He. Shar Sabdan Shri Shri Mahaprabhuji Parad Rehe He. Shar Sabdan Shri Shri Prabhuji Parad Rehe He. Shar Sabdan Shri Shri Mahaprabhuji Parad Rehe He. Shar Sabdan Shri Shri Mahaprabhuji Parad Rehe He. Shar Sabdan Shri Shri Mahaprabhuji Parad Rehe He. Got in time just before the snow started hitting us a little bit. So now we'll sit with Mother for a while and hear a discourse, and then we'll have some chanting afterwards. So if you remember yesterday, let me just straighten out the microphone cord a little bit. This is always a bit of a challenge. Thank you, Mother. You can see the beautiful goddesses that we did puja to this morning. Today is a Lakshmi day, so we're doing Mother Lakshmi. And Saraswati is waiting in the wings for the day after tomorrow. So back to our discourses. If you remember, this is how these stories in the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam go, is they sort of meander. Let's put it that way. Finally, they got back to asking Sutta about Vedavyasa's son, Sukadeva. But then, so we'll move on there. And we're at chapter 10. I know some of you are trying to follow this in your own Srimad Devi Bhagavatams. And so we're on chapter 10. So the Muni said, O Sutta, you told before that Vedavyasa, of unrivaled spirit, composed all the pranas and taught them to his own son, Sukadeva. But how did Vedavyasa, who was incessantly engaged in tapasya, procreate Sukha? Describe to us in detail what you have heard direct from Vedavyasa. Sutta said, O Rishis, hear now about how Sukadeva, the best of the Munis and the foremost of the yogis, was born of Vedavyasa, the Satyavatu's son. On the very beautiful summit of Mount Meru, Vedavyasa, the son of Satyavati, firmly determined, practiced very severe austerities for the attainment of a son. Having heard from Narada, he, the great ascetic, repeated the mantra and worshipped the highest Mahamaya, the Divine Mother, with the object of getting a son. He asked, let a son be born to me as pure and as spirited and powerful as fire, air, earth, and ether. And thus came to the conclusion, then came to the conclusion that Shakti is therefore worshipped everywhere, and therefore worshipped, if he could worship Bhagavan Maheshvara, Shiva, coupled with the auspicious Adi Shakti, and went ahead and spent 100 years without any food doing that tapasya, that meditation. He began his tapasya on that mountain summit, which was ornamented with the garden where all the devas play and where live the munis and other high aesthetics. The whole universe was pervaded with the spirit of the asceticism of the intelligent Vedavyasa, and the hairs of his head were clotted and looked tawny, of the color of flames. Seeing the fire of his asceticism, Indra, the lord of Sakshi, became exceedingly terrified. Bhagavan Shiva, seeing Indra thus afraid, fatigued, and morose, asked him, O Indra, why do you look so fear-stricken today? O Lord of the Devas, what is the cause of your grief? Never show your jealousy and anger to the ascetics. Know that the mindful ascetics always practice severe asceticism with a noble object, and they worship me, knowing me to possess all of the powerful Shakti. They never want ill of anybody. When Bhagavan Shiva said this, Indra asked him, what is his object? At this, Shiva said, his object is to attain a son. Vedavyasa is practicing so severe austerities, now 100 years it has been completed. I will go to him and give him today the auspicious boon of a son. Thus speaking to Indra, Bhagavan Shiva, the guru of the world, went to Vedavyasa and with merciful eyes said, O sinless Vedavyasa, get up. I grant to you the boon that you will have a son very fiery, luminous, and spirited like the 5 elements of the fire, air, earth, water, and akasa, the supreme jnana, the store of all auspicious qualities and great renown, beloved to all, ornamented with all the sattvic qualities, truthful, and with much valor. Hearing these sweet words of Bhagavan Shiva, Vedavyasa bowed down to him and went back to his own hermitage, tired with the labor of penance for many years. He wanted to kindle fire by rubbing two sticks together with each other. While doing this, the high-souled man suddenly began to think strongly in his mind about procreating a son. He thought, will it be that my son will be born as this fire is produced by the friction of the 2 churning sticks? I have not got a wife. So how am I to do this? While he was thinking thus, the extraordinarily beautiful Apsaras, a celestial nymph, fell into his sight, close to him in the celestial air. Though Vedavyasa was a brahmachari, holding in control the secret power of generation of a very high order, yet seeing suddenly the agile celestial nymph coming close to him and looking askance at him, he became soon smitten with the arrows of Cupid, and feeling himself distressed, began to think, "What shall I do in this critical moment? Unbearable amorous feelings now have come over me. Now, if I take this celestial nymph, knowing that Dharma is everywhere looking, and a woman has come to take away my precious fire of spirit acquired by my tapasya, then I will be laughed at by the high-souled ascetic munis, who will think that I have lost my senses altogether. Alas, why would I, who has practiced for 100 years the most terrible asceticism, have become so powerless by the mere sight of a celestial nymph?" The pundits declare the household life is the source of getting a son, one's heart's desire, and the source of all happiness, so much so that it leads all the virtuous souls to the pleasures of heaven and ordains moksha, liberation, to those who are yanas. And if I get such unrivaled happiness from this householder's life, I can have this celestial nymph. But again, that happiness will not occur to me through a celestial nymph. There is no doubt about this. So how can I take her? I heard from Narada how in ancient years a king named Pururava fell into the clutches of a celestial nymph and ultimately felt great pain being defeated by her. So now the rishis, hearing this story, they want to know more about, they say, "O Sutta, who is this king Pururava? And who is the Deva, the celestial nymph? And how did this high-souled king Pururava get into so much trouble? Kindly describe to us all about how he came to be born and what happened." So this is how this book goes, because we still haven't heard about Sukadeva's birth. But Sutta said, "Okay, so I'll tell you about it." He said, "The greatly religious Pururava, the king, was of a very charitable disposition and always ready to perform sacrificial acts. He was born of a Kshatriya woman named Ila. And I will now describe how this Pururava was born of Ila and Buddha. Buddha is the son of Chandradev and Tara. Kindly listen to this very interesting story. In days of yore, there was a king named Sudya very truthful and highly capable in keeping his senses under control. Once on a time, wearing beautiful earrings with extraordinary bow and holding the arrow case full of arrows on his back, he went out on hunt to a forest, riding on a horse, surrounded by just a few of his ministers. And there he saw many animals that he went for the hunt and followed them deeper and deeper into the interior of a forest. This divine forest was adorned with rows of beautiful trees and situated at the bottom of the Mount Sumeru. Various trees and flowers were spreading the beauty of this forest all around at places where asoka creepers and various other beautiful plants were growing. All enhanced the beauty and shed the luster all around. There were tanks and reservoirs of water in the forest filled with swans and other beautiful aquatic birds. The bamboo trees on their banks, becoming filled with air, were emitting sweet musical sounds. And at many places of that all blissful giving forest, there were bees humming sweetly and delighting the minds of the people there. Now the king became highly gladdened in his heart to see this interior of the forest resonated with the cooing of the cuckoos and beautified by various lovely flowers. No sooner he entered there, however, that he was turned into a female, and his horse also turned into a mare. The king then became seriously anxious. He began to think over and over again, what is this? How has this come to pass? And became very ashamed and sorry and pondered over thus, what am I to do now? How can I, in this woman condition, go back to my house? And how shall I govern my kingdom? Alas, who has deceived me thus? Hearing these astounding words of Sutta, the rishi said, O Sutta, you have mentioned that the king, Suryamna, equal to God, has been turned into a woman. This is very strange indeed. Therefore, what is the reason of his being turned into a woman? Kindly describe this to us fully, what that beautiful king did in the forest. Sutta said, once on a time, Shiva and other rishis went to the forest to pay a visit to once on a time, Sanaka and other rishis went to the forest, this particular forest, to pay a visit to Shankara, illuminating the 10 quarters by their holy aura. But then the Bhagavan Shiva was in amorous dealings with his consort, the beautiful Devi Ambika, who was then naked and sitting on the lap of Shiva, and therefore became very much ashamed at the sight of these rishis. She got up hurriedly and, putting on her cloth, remained there shuddering with great shame and sensitivity. Rishis also, seeing them engaged in amorous dealings, went away quickly to the hermitage of Narayana. Then Bhagavan Shiva, seeing Ambika Devi too much sensitive, said, why are you so much bashful and shy? I am going to do just now what will give you pleasure, O beautiful one. Whatever male will ever enter into this from this day on within this precious precincts of the forest will be instantly turned into a woman. Though the forest gave all delights to all, yet having this defect, all the persons that know of this curse carefully avoid this forest. No sooner did the king, Sudumna, enter into the forest out of ignorance, then he, as well as his attendants, were instantly turned into women. There could be no doubt in this. The king became overpowered with great care and anxiety and did not go back, out of shame, to his palace. But he began to wander to and fro on the outskirts of that forest. He became known afterwards as the woman Ila. Now once on occasion, Buddhi, as I said earlier, the son of Chandradeva and Tara, while he was wandering at his will, came up there and seeing the beautiful Ila with gestures and postures and surrounded by women, became passionately attached towards her. And Ila too, seeing the beautiful Buddha, the son of Chandradeva, became desirous to have him as her husband. They became so much tied in towards each other in love. Thus Bhagavan Buddha generated in the womb of Ila Purava, and Ila gave birth in time to the son Purava in that forest. She then, with an anxious heart, recollected while in the forest her family priest Vasishtadeva. Now then, Vasishtadeva, seeing the distressed condition of the king Suryamna, became affected with pity and pleased Mahadev Shankara Shiva, the most auspicious deva of all, by hymns and praises. When Bhagavan Shiva wanted to grant him the boon that he desired, Vasishtadeva wanted that the king would be turned back into a man as before. At this, Bhagavan Shiva said, in recognition of his promise that the king Suryamna would be alternately 1 month a man and the second month a woman, and so on. Thus, by the favor of Vasishtadeva, the king Sudumna got his boon and returned to his kingdom and began to govern it. When he used to be turned into a woman, he used to remain in the interior, and when he used to become a man, he governed his kingdom. At this, the subjects became very anxious and did not welcome the king as they used to before. Some time passed away when the prince, Pururava, grew up into manhood. Then the king, Sudumna, gave over to him, the prince, the kingdom, and made him the king, and started out to a hermitage to perform tapasya. He went to a beautiful forest variegated with all sorts of trees and got from the Devarsi Narada the excellent mantra of the Divine Mother Bhagavati Devi, consisting of 9 letters. He began to repeat it incessantly with a heart filled with love. Thus some days passed away when the all-auspicious Devi Bhagavati, the savior of the whole universe, became pleased with the king and appeared before the king, assuming the divine, beautiful form composed of attributes intoxicated with the drink and eyes rolling with the pride and riding on the beautiful lion. Seeing this divine form of the mother of the universe, the king, Ila, in this form, bowed down before her with eyes filled with love and gladly praised her with hymns thus: O Bhagavati, what a fortunate being I am, that I have seen today the extraordinary world-renowned benignant form of thine, granting grace and benefit to all the lokas. I therefore bow down to thy lotus feet, granting desires and liberation, and served by the whole host of the devas. O Mother, what mortal is there in this earth who can fully comprehend thy glories when all the devas and munis get bewildered in trying to know them? O Devi, I am thoroughly astonished to see thy glories and thy compassion toward thy distressed and poor and helpless people. How can a human being who is devoid of attributes comprehend the attributes with Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar, Shiva, Indra, Chandra, Pavana, Surya, Kubara, and the 8 Vasus know not thy powers? O Mother, Bhagavan Vishnu of unrivaled brilliancy knows these as part of thine only, as Kamala or Lakshmi of the Sattvic Guna, and giving one all desires. Bhagavan Brahma knows thy part only as the form made of the Raja Guna, and Bhagavan Shiva knows that as Uma, only made of the Tamasic Guna. But, O Mother, none of them know thee in all entirety, transcending all the gunas. O Mother, when in my humble self, that is, of very dull intellect and powerless, and where is it extremely propitious serenity and graciousness? Indeed, such a gracious favor on me is certainly beyond expectation. Therefore, O Bhagavani, I have come to realize in particular that thy heart is full of unbounded mercy, for thou dost certainly feel compassion for these bhaktis that are full of bhakti toward thee. O Mother, what more shall I say than this? That Bhagavan Vishnu, though married to Lakshmi, born from only a part of thine, considers himself unfit of her and is therefore not happy, then the fact that he, the Adi Purusa, gets his feet shampooed by Lakshmi merely corroborates the fact that he wants his feet to become pure and all auspicious to the world by the holy touch of Lakshmi. O Devi, when thou hast resided in the calm, broad chest as if on a cot, adorned beautifully of Bhagavan Vishnu, as lightning and deep, dense blue clouds, then it is without doubt that he, becoming the Lord of the universe, has surely become thy vehicle on account of carrying thee on his breast. O Mother, if thou forsake out of wrath, Vishnu, he becomes at once powerless and is not worshipped by anybody, for it is seen everywhere that persons, though calm and serene, if devoid of Shri, wealth and power, and the Sattvic guna, are forsaken by their relatives as reduced to the state having no qualities. O Mother, I am not to be ignored by thee on account of my being a woman, for was it not that fact that Brahma and the other devas who always take shelter of thy lotus feet had not all to assume once youthful feminine forms while in Manidvipa? And I know this surely that thou again didst make them into male forms. Therefore, O thou of unbounded power, what shall I describe about thy power? Indeed, there is a great doubt in my mind whether thou art masculine or feminine. O Devi, whoever thou mayest be, whether thy attributes are transcending the attributes, whether male or female, I always bow down to thee with a heart full of devotion towards thee, O Mother. I want that I may have one unflinching devotion towards thee in my final state. Thus praising the Devi, the king Sudyamna, in the form of the feminine Ila, took refuge of the world mother, and the Devi, becoming greatly pleased, gave to that king then and there union with herself. Thus the king got the highest steady place, so very rare even to the Munis, by the grace of the prime force, the Devi Brahma Maya. Thus ends the 12th chapter of the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses by Maharishi Vedavyasa. And next then we will go on and talk about what happened to their son, Ila's son and Buddhi's son, and find out how he was tempted by the celestial nymph that Vedavyasa is talking about, as he's being tempted by the nymph. So Saraswati Mata Ki Jai, Bole Baba Ki Jai, Vishveshwari Mata Ki Jai, Bole Baba Ki Jai. Now we'll see if we can have some bhajans. So we set up the microphones. Just take us a moment here. So today is the Divine Mother Day. So Friday is the day we honor Mother. And we'll start with chant number 11. Arya Kandeshwari. Just get a little water.
Ki Jai, Mahamaya Ki Jai, Mahadurga Ki Jai, Mahakali Ki Jai, Mahalakshmi Ki Jai, Annapurnamata Ki Jai, Tara Ki Jai, Saraswati Ki Jai, Mother Mary Mata Ki Jai, Mahamaya Ki Jai, Bole Baba Ki Jai.
And we'll sing number 1 now. Jayambe Jagadambe.
Mata Bhava Jagarambe Mata Ki Jai, Bhavani Mata Ki Jai, Durga Mata Ki Jai, Kali Mata Ki Jai, Uma Mata Ki Jai, Brahmani Mata Ki Jai, Radha Rukamani Mata Ki Jai, Sita Mata Ki Jai, Mahamaya Ki Jai, Bole Baba Ki Jai.
Now we'll sing number 13. And if you have the translation, it's so beautiful. Part of it is for eons I have thirsted for you, Mother, thirsty for your love, for just one glimpse of you, Mother. In every birth I crave for one sight of you. At your feet the flowers of my devotion blossom. If my breath leaves my body, keep me at your feet even as I lose my life. Sule Mahari Poko, Sule Mahari Poko. Tere charan mein maata, tere charan mein maata, mere bhakti ke pulake, mere bhakti ke pulake. Aga pranimitani ho, aga pranimitani ho, charamunitani kare ho. Ekandeshwari, Siddheshwari, Sule Mahari Poko, Sule Mahari Poko, Sule Mahari Poko. Tu prema dasana rema, tu prema dasana rema, mujhe prema se balage, mujhe prema se balage. Oh Karunamai, oh Karunamai, amatu kripa karade. Ekandeshwari, Siddheshwari, Sule Mahari Poko, Sule Mahari Poko, Sule Mahari Poko. Sule Mahari Poko, Sule Mahari Poko, Sule Mahari
Hiryakandeshwari Mata ki jai, Siddheshwari Mata ki jai, Tara Mata ki jai, Durga Mata ki jai, Lakshmi Mata ki jai, Saraswati Mata ki jai, Mahamaya ki jai, Vishveshwari Mata ki jai, Karunamaye Mata ki jai, Bole Baba ki
Jai. Vishveshwari Mata ki jai. And we'll go up and have darshan. There's Babaji. He's in pink. And the Divine Mother. Come close so you can have close darshan of Mother before we sign off here. That beautiful, beautiful Mother. Hare Kandeshwari Mata ki jai, Vishveshwari Mata ki jai. And may Mother's love and Baba's love fill you throughout the day. And please remember that tomorrow, instead of chanting and discourse, we'll go right into a Zoom satsang about the Divine Mother and Babaji. So if you've experienced something in a dream or a vision or with Babaji, feeling like the Divine Mother to you, or an experience of the Divine Mother, we would love you to share with you and have you share with us at noon tomorrow. We'll send the link around on Facebook and also hopefully posted. So Bole Baba Ki Jai, Jagdambe Mata Ki Jai.